Welcome to Match Day. This is Vince Gansberg with United Soccer Coaches. Along with me is Ian Barker, Director of Coaching Education for United Soccer Coaches, and my boss. And it's with great pleasure that I'm going to introduce Gabriel Renteria from Florida, and he's
Hello.
with Weston Select Soccer Club. And Gabe and I met when I was teaching a C license in Florida, right there at your club.
Yep.
And just super impressive young man, super impressive and just, everything that you give as a coach, but more importantly, as a person is just outstanding. So thank you so much for taking your time to be here. Let's talk a little bit about your journey, maybe a little bit, and then we'll get into kind of what you're doing right now in this period. We're in a period of isolation. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much. So yes, my name is Coach Gabriel Renteria, and soccer really is has been an instrumental part of who I am and the decisions that I've actually made along my lifetime. Yes, because there was many moments where I could have chosen one road. An example would be staying up late to who knows what hours, but the discipline behind the sport. Allowed me to go to sleep at the hour that I needed to go to sleep. So I think soccer has changed my life, and it's still changing my life. And it's been about 8 years now where I've decided to do this full time. And initially I was a high school teacher. I have my bachelor's degree in secondary education and social sciences, and it just there came a moment where I had a moment of reflection of I'm 23, and I don't have kids, I don't have a wife. What do I want to do with the rest of my life now that I can? And I have a great friend. His name is Jan Wickman, and he dove into doing this full time. And he kind of said, "Well, if you want, you can hop on and we can do this together." And without a doubt, I took that jump, and there was many months where I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent or where my next meal was going to come from. But all the sacrifice has paid off and is paying off, and I just can't imagine where my life would be right now without soccer. So I'm extremely humbled where it has taken me, and most importantly, that there is a pathway to become a professional in this area.
Very good. So you grew up where? Where'd you grow up?
I
In
grew up
Florida?
in Yeah, I grew up in South Florida. I grew up in Pompano Beach, Florida, where actually I live now. And it has been a tremendous road, because I am a first generation immigrant into this country. My parents were the first ones who said, you know what, we're making our move and we're going to the United States. And so when I arrived here, it was breathtaking, to see so many lights. I come from a small ranch in Mexico, literally a ranch, and to see so many lights, so many highways. Growing up, I grew up in what you would classify as bad neighborhoods and or ghetto neighborhoods, and just to know that I always had soccer to play in my backyard when many things were going on in my front street, in terms of maybe violence or drugs or whatnot. um, and then soccer actually was the reason I moved out of this quote unquote bad neighborhood, because I was going to feed into a high school that was known for violence or whatnot, and that has long changed,
Yeah.
which I'm thankful to say. But during this time, I told my parents, "Hey, I don't think I want to go to that high school just because of soccer. I don't see myself going anywhere with soccer in that sport." And they actually moved out of our neighborhood, and the only thing they could afford was a trailer. And they bought a trailer in the area where the other high school was at, and it allowed me to go to that high school. And once I entered that high school, after my 4 years or 3 years of playing, my high school coach William Strachan, he made a phone call, and he called. our St. Thomas University coach, Felix Matz, and so he linked me with college, and I mean, it was just it's almost as it was meant to be. You know,
Yeah.
it was. I don't want to say divine intervention, but I mean the way things happen, it
Yeah.
was almost like, wow, this is where I was meant to be. And from there, I went on to college. I played 4 years. I went on to be a teacher for 3 years, and that's when I decided to jump on and become a full-time soccer coach. And we're here now. I have my C license now, and I continue to pour everything that I have into the sport, into these kids, and into into AYSO 644 and Weston Select, that has given me a home, really.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. That was really powerful. And I'm looking at the chat box as you're talking, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but my goodness, have you made a difference to a lot of people? And you should be very proud of that. And you and I think we talked about this when I was teaching the course in Florida. I too grew up in a trailer park, and very similar situation, and it was interesting. So it's great. And you know what it is? I think there is some divine intervention, and it's okay to say that. So let's talk about. So you left teaching, you went into coaching, and now we're into coaching, and you were going strong. Everything was good, and then boom, we got shut down. So
yes,
now,
I was actually up for my grassroots instructor license course. And I was 2 weeks away from flying out there, and it got canceled. Um, but yeah, now we're in this standstill where we're just waiting for it to pass and see where we're going from here.
that's good. That's great. So we talked about early or last week how you engage your kids. So we've been doing this in the past. This is, I think, our fourth week doing match day.
Yeah.
So we've been offering clubs just different ways and coaches different ways they can connect with their kids. So please share what you do, because I think that the more options and that are available, the better that we show. So go ahead and
Yes.
talk about that, and let's go from there.
Absolutely. So what we have going on is an online soccer training program, which we've called and labeled the Ballers Club.
All right.
The Ballers Club. So in order to understand that program, we first have to understand the structure of who we are. So we're AYSO 644 and Weston Select, which is the American Youth Soccer Organization, and we house our recreational program, and we have 2,000 families, boys and girls, ranging from the years of 3 to 18. And from AYSO recreational, one of the biggest problems was that kids, after a certain time, kids were ready to jump onto bigger, more competitive things that rec couldn't offer. And so Weston Select was that solution to that problem of players leaving us. And AYSO Weston Select is the competitive. We play under FYSA, and we have 400 boys and girls from the ages of 7 to 18. And we also have an adult league with 400 members, and we offer a VIP program for families with children and adults with special needs. And we offer playground for kids who are 3.5. So really, we are a whole school of soccer, as I like to call it. And I like to think that we have a very, very strong holistic approach to what we do. And our online training program, I think, has had the success because our parents know where we're coming from. It wasn't okay, this is here's an online training program. They know that there's been a lot of time poured into it. So what does it mean to be a holistic program? First of all, let's say you have a kid of 8 years old, and you come to us and you say, hey, we're looking for a soccer program, and I tell you we have 26 spots, and we can't have no more or no less. Luckily for you, one of our kids just moved out of the state. We would open our doors. You would train with us for a week. We would evaluate the player, and also we would have conversations with you, the parent, because parents are crucial in this time and age and development of the player. So once we've committed to you, we've committed to you for 5 years. That's our loyalty program. We've committed to you for 5 years. So that means that even if the best player in the world comes knocking on our door, your kid is not in danger of being let go. We don't believe in cutting any players. We don't do that. We don't believe in tryouts, and we another very important thing is that every single player in our program is guaranteed half of a game in any and every competition that we go to. So either we win together or we lose together, and that brings about great lessons within this sport that we want our kids to learn. And we don't recruit from outside clubs. We don't do that. I would hate for someone to come into my family and try to recruit one of my daughters away from me. So
Right.
we don't do that to anyone. I think that's I don't think that belongs in our program. I know that some programs aren't for everyone, but there is a way of doing things. But we don't go out and facilitate the breaking up of families to join our families, because then we're only looking for numerical advantages, and that's not what we're all about.
Good.
And we have a strong culture. We have what is called the Golden Shirt Award, which is one player recognized in every age group, and they get to wear their golden shirt during that whole month. We have our Make Your Own Ball Day, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with, where kids leave their balls at home. Mark Spiegler, I was able to talk to him, and he joined on board with that. And he helped us get it going. We also have our juggling patches, which is if your kid reaches 15 juggles, we have a little iron-on patch like the Boy Scouts do. And so now we give it to you, and you iron it on their shirt, and now they come to train, and they're wearing this patch, and everyone recognizes, like, hey, you did 15, great job, congratulations. So now that we're at a standstill, our parents know that this program that we've initiated, our online program, it's coming from a great place. It's coming from a place of really trying to help our kids. And when this whole coronavirus, COVID-19 hit our shores, we were in shock as well. We were confused, and we were in limbo onto how do we proceed, how do we continue to move on. And that same weekend that we were told to practice social distancing, we were about to host our own tournament for our club, which is called the 3v3 Blast. And so we already had 250 plus teams registered, and we canceled all of that. So for a week, we were just almost like in the dark ages, like what's happening, what's going to happen. And our board, Alan Dagan and Hector Schmidt and everyone who's involved, they said, well, is there anything we can do? Is there an online training program? And once they said that, I mean, it was light bulbs. It was like, we don't know, but we're willing to try. And Tom O'Roy and Jan Wickman, myself, and now Coach Chrissy, which helps us launch these videos, we came up with what is called the Individual Player Development Program. And as we all now know, the Ballers Club. And our objective to this program is, one, to promote fun ways to practice soccer while keeping social distancing. 2, to get the kids out playing together with their soccer ball in a fun way. 3, to get players to understand that it's up to them to be dedicated to continue their soccer development. And actually, with all the teams that I Zoom with, because we use Zoom a lot, we call this the catch-up time. If you're a player and you wanted to be here, this is a great way to catch up to where you want to be. Yep. And the same token, if you're up here, you don't want to do anything during these times, is a perfect time for others to catch up. So we're really honest with our players, and we communicate with them and tell them that it's absolutely crucial that it is born within this sport, can't be forced upon anyone. So our players are doing a great job of coming on, of joining this program, and we're reaching our objectives. And our objectives are, 1, to promote and recruit, and we use our online social structure, which is Instagram and Facebook, just because that's the easiest for parents to also use. Yep. Unfortunately, we also use Team Snap for all of our communication, but they don't have video sharing. We instruct, and we have three steps during every day, and we call it the goalkeeper tip of the day, which is specifically for goalkeepers, and that's every day at 2 p.m. And then we have the tip of the day, which is at 4:15 p.m. And that leads on to our actual 5 p.m. 644 live at 5, which is what we coined it or call it. And that's where our director Jan Wickman and coach Chrissy Gratz, they go on and they present for 20 minutes on Facebook Live and on Instagram Live. And the kids tune in with them. The kids turn it on. We've been doing it. This is our 4th week. So by now the kids know that at 5 we're live. At 4:15 is the warm up to 5 p.m. and for our goalkeepers at 2 p.m. So that's how we instruct. And the way we motivate our players is we provide messages to them all the time. We give them lots of our good energy. We make them see the positive of this situation, because there is a lot of positives that are coming out of this situation. In the darkest of times, light always shines. So we shout them out on social media, like, hey, big shout out to Paz, great shout out to our U8s, and they love that. They eat it up. Our parents send us videos of them watching us. We have Zoom meetings, and for example, on a personal level, me with my U17 girls, we make sure that on birthdays we are on a Zoom call, and every single player, we continue the tradition that every single player says something good about that player who is their birthday. And so we're continuing to keep traditions that we had on the field,
right,
but now using technology. And like we were talking earlier, since this online training started, it's been a full-time job. It's been more work than actual coaching before this. But again, it's for the kids, and they're eating it up. They're being very competitive. Different age group wants to be the ones that work the most, and also it's a great way to keep our coaches busy, and in all honesty, to keep them getting paid. Especially those who are full-time. And the way we track this is each one of our coaches has a comprehensive list of players that they are in charge of.
Okay.
So you're in charge of these 20 players or 12 players, whatever these players are. And your job is to, one, track all of them and tell them that this is going on and make sure they understand it. Always ask, how could we help? How can I help you understand? How can I give you ideas? We had a kid who absolutely could not go outside, and she lived in an apartment. So that coach's task now is, how can I help this player who only has her living room? And so we're make sure we're targeting each individual player, not just casting a net and hopefully that they join. We're really targeting player by player so that we don't miss anyone. And lastly, of course, we got to keep it fun. So crazy times, we need to relieve stress for the kids, and we want to make sure that our Ballers Club is that outlet for our kids. Moving forward in these times, because the number one question is, when can I get back on the field? And we don't have an answer for that.
Right.
So that's basically what we are doing with our program, and I would love to share some of our feedback and videos that we've gotten, if I can share my screen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then we got a few minutes, but a couple things just struck me. Number one, just the whole thing about, you commit to a kid for 5 years. I mean, my goodness, what a great model that would be if everybody did that. Number two, I like how it's almost like an individualized education plan, right? For the kids. And it's not, like you said, it's not just an open, like a big net and, okay, now go out and do it.
Right.
So
exactly.
For me, it's the follow through that you all are doing that makes a difference. So yeah, let's go and share. Yeah.
Before we do that, back to 5 years. We have our 2005 boys who started who led our program, who exited our program or graduated our U12 to U8 to U12 program, and now they're U15, and there's 19 members on that team, and 17 of those members were with them through the whole journey. So that gives me goosebumps. That is what I'm after. If we win a game, that's really cool, and I get it. But these moments, these impacts that we're doing, I think that's what really counts. So without further ado, I will share my screen. And here is
a little guy.
Here's one of our players who actually went outside, did this on her free time. That says, "Dear coaches, thank you so much for doing your best to keep us active and healthy in this time, in these challenging times. We really appreciate it. Love, Petra." So to some kids, and this is what Alan Dagan, our president, always says, to some kids, this might be the best time of their day. And so we really take that to heart. And this video that I'm showing now is one of our players who's actually tuning in her screen at the 644 live at 5. And for us to receive these videos, and we see Sebastian Hirona, who has been consistently out with his dad. And that is extremely important to me.
Yes.
Because it creates an emotional connection. Just like if they both like cars and they're both working on the car together, that's an emotional connection. If you like cooking and your mom cooks with you, that's an emotional connection. So what I've also figured out is that through these online training programs, parents have to be extremely involved. And it creates just another emotional connection within the family, for them to get to know each other, for them to get to spend more time together and really help raise an individual.
No, that's great. Gabe, this has been fantastic, and I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you got to get ready for your four. Well, you're past the 4:15 one, but the 5 o'clock one. Just want to say, first off, the love that you're getting on chat is great. It's the most interactive that I've ever seen. My boss is holding something up right now.
I just followed Gabe and the club on Instagram, and I'm looking at all the videos on Instagram of Gabe and the coaches.
Yeah, that's me outside my house right now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
You have another follower on Instagram.
Oh, that's great. Appreciate it. Yeah. So what we've concluded from this is that parents appreciate it so much that this online program is happening, and people is a snowball effect. You do one good thing, and then it encourages other people to do a good thing. And we were talking earlier about our spring registration, and did we give any refunds? And yes, we did. But we also gave them an option of whether they wanted to donate their refund in the case that they absolutely did not need it. And to date, in the last week, we have over 100 families from AYSO 644 who have donated some, if not all, of their spring registration back to the club to help those families who are going to need help come the fall season. And we're at $13,000.
That's fantastic. Wow. Gabe, thank you so much for sharing your story and all the little tidbits that you talked about with, what you do with your kids and how you individualize it. But look, I knew when I met you, I'm like, this guy is really special, and Ian knows that I'll beat the drum to death when I, really admire, someone. And you're definitely one. And I can tell that you are a difference maker in a lot of ways. And so God bless you for what you do, and be proud of what you do. And because you're making a huge difference, in everyone's lives. And I'm sure you're the best thing going for a lot of kids today. So,
and I will say for all of Gabe's players and followers out there, this is the best attended match day we've had in 3 weeks. The only one that rivals it is the Texas high school coaches, and Texas is a big place. Big. So to Gabe and his followers, you guys have you've just set a new record. Well done.
Yay, good. That's great. Gabe, and if anyone wants any of our resources, even our ideas, the juggling patches, because it took us a month to find a person who did those, whatever. I mean, we're here to share, not to hide for ourselves. So you guys can get in contact with me at gabe@westonselect.org. You guys can look us up like Ian just did, and we are an open book of sharing of ideas, and we do it all for the kids.
Fantastic. Gabe, thank you so much. I just want to make sure I got the email right. gabe@westonselect.org.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So I put that in the chat box. Thank you all so much. Tomorrow we've got the Queen, Sarah McQuaid, talking about coach. And we also have Brett Jacobs from the MLS. It's going to talk about an MLS training session. So thank you very, very much, Gabe. God bless, and keep doing what you do. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Ian.